Hello, Claire. How are you?
Hi, Richard. Lovely to see you again. I'm good, thank you. Not at all bad in the current world.
Absolutely. Well, I'm guessing looking at the supermarket shelves these days and so forth, you're extremely busy as a company.
Absolutely, yes. Obviously, our retail side of the business, people are responding well to moving to a meat-free diet, with more and more adopting that lifestyle. And in food service, we're really looking at creative ways we can help people come back into the industry with some great plant-based dishes.
Absolutely. So, I mean, Quorn, it all started, didn't it, with a vision of one man in the early 60s for a more sustainable food system, better health for ourselves and the planet. I mean, he was a great visionary, and those things are now a global imperative. How does the Quorn product of today reflect that original ethos?
Really does reflect the same ethos, and it's something that we've been able to maintain since the 60s. I think really we've strengthened our mission today, our mission to encourage delicious meat-free dishes on every menu and on every retail shelf. And we really want to recruit people into those dishes because we believe that together we can really make a difference. The real benefits to Quorn as a sustainable protein, a super protein, is it takes up less water and land than its meat equivalent. So 90% less water and land than a meat equivalent, and reduces the CO2 emissions. And that's something that's been true since its inception and is still true today, and something we work very hard to scientifically prove as well. So lots of studies going on to make sure we're making this protein the best it can be.
And of course, from a personal health perspective as well, I mean, it's got fantastic nutritional qualities.
Absolutely, yes. It has all of the same amino acids as its meat equivalent, so it doesn't give a void in your diet when eating Quorn, and it's also low in fat, a source of protein and fiber, so it actually adds to your diet rather than taking away from it.
So I read a really interesting statistic recently, which was that 92% of plant-based meals consumed in the UK are actually eaten by non-vegans. This has obviously got huge implications for the industry, and it shows, I guess, that the rise of the flexitarian. Is this something that you take into consideration when you're planning products, that it is about a different consumer perhaps than traditional vegan dishes were, a few years ago?
We certainly do. I think everyone's expectation on meat-free food has really escalated, and what we desire when we go out to eat has become something really delicious. So it's not the add-on on a menu just because it's vegan or vegetarian. It's actually a delicious dish in its own right. And again, sort of recent statistics from a CGA study suggested that at least 25% of those, when they're eating out, who are looking to reduce meat, want it to be delicious in its own right, not just a kind of vegan dish on that menu. So we really do take that into consideration, and something has been at the heart of our recent product development with the launch of the buttermilk style burger. We know in the UK we adore a chicken burger, and it's getting stronger and stronger. I think fried chicken has increased in its appeal over the kind of last year as we look to enhance our eating at home and bring comfort into our lives. So it made complete sense to us to launch something that was absolutely delicious in its own right and a sort of staple that people want in their diet. Again, making it really easy for people to just swap one meal. So all of our development was focused on making sure that that burger stood up in its own right as a delicious burger.
Yeah, well, having cooked that myself, I can absolutely say that it totally does. It's absolutely remarkable how you do that. So when we're looking at the concept of plant-based in hospitality, it covers a vast spectrum. I mean, you've got from, as you've just touched upon, from fast food and convenience, but right up to the fine dining level. How do you, as a company, try and cover all those bases?
Well, we're very lucky because the beauty of Quorn is its ability to take on flavour and its versatility. So that allows us the scope to stretch across hospitality, as you said, from the high street. And we've got recent wins with the chains Wasabi, where they've taken a vegan Quorn fillet to create their delicious katsu curry, right through to kind of Wetherspoon's breakfast, and then obviously the very well-known KFC vegan burger and the Greggs sausage roll. So again, I think all of those products are very different from each other, and therefore showcase how Quorn can be used in a very versatile way to create a different flavour and texture. And again, that texture is really important. I think particularly as people move from meat, that we want to make that, eating meat can have a certain enjoyment and theatre about it, and particularly around the texture, etc. So we want to make sure that when people move to a meat-free diet, they're getting some of those same experiences as well. So really, by utilising Quorn, we can create that at the fine dining level, working with chefs such as Chantal Nicholson from Treadwell's and All's Well, how we can replicate or create new dishes at that level, all the way through to kind of when we eat out in a pub chain or, pick up a sausage roll from Greg's.
I mean, I always say that the supermarket is a great barometer, isn't it, for assessing consumer demand. And you go into any supermarket now, and you've got plant-based aisles, going on forever now. It seems it's wonderful. I'm not sure that that's reflected yet in the hospitality industry. So, I mean, do you think there's a bit of a catch-up to do for hospitality there? And how do you think that is best addressed?
I do. I think there's a little bit of a recognition in hospitality now that this isn't a trend anymore. This is a behaviour, that this isn't something people have adopted for a short period of time. We've all fundamentally started to change. I think once, as our recent statistics show, you get over 50% of some of the population doing something, we have to recognise this is now part of everyday behaviour. And as such, we want to be able to see that in hospitality as well as pick it up in the supermarket. I think it's that just mindset change to look at, how do we make sure that, plant-based is not just an option, it's an integral part of what we offer, whether that is a fine dining restaurant or, a casual dining outlet. How do we create dishes that our consumers want to come and see and want to come and eat? And I think even more so as we come into the reopening of hospitality, is that desire from a consumer perspective hasn't gone away. So let's not forget that when we're looking at our menus and looking at what we offer in the next sort of 6 to 8 months into next year, how do we make sure we've got all of those options on our menus?
And of course, you're being really proactive with this, aren't you? I mean, you've teamed up with HIT Training, the leading training and apprenticeship provider in hospitality, to do the first proper plant-based training course. Absolutely,
it's been really exciting. In every dark world, there is always a star, isn't there? So I think that's been one of the stars for us. And we've had the delight of working with HIT on this, recognising, I think, that for many, sometimes meat-free and plant-based can have a little bit of, non-understanding of how to work with that as a protein, etc. And actually, how do we take chef skills and just really showcase them in that world? So yeah, we've absolutely. So the course launched in January and now open to any level of a chef across any market, that they can really, showcase how they can build their skills in the plant-based arena and then look towards their menus for the future. I think we've also, alongside that, really strengthened the kind of tools and utilise the virtual world for kind of virtual development days with chefs, etc., so that we can really come out of this as strong as possible.
Claire, thank you so much. I mean, that was totally inspiring. You're doing some fantastic work. It's a pleasure to talk to you as always. Thank you.
No problem. Always a pleasure to talk to you, Richard. And thank you very much.